Hello, hello, hello. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How's it going? How's it going? Oh, things popping up on my screen. There we go. How's it going, Rem? Hope you're well. Rumour has it this habitat may never be completed. It's getting there. It's getting there. I'm quite enjoying it though. I think it's going to be a zoo, so I'm not quite so worried about it. I'm not quite so worried about slow progress if it's going to be a zoo. But yeah, I think we'll get there. I've got some progress to show you. I'm sort of deciding whether I'm showing the progress on the community zoo as well. So I did a bit of a change on the community zoo to the entranceway, which I think I put up on Instagram, so you may well have seen it. Taking a bunch of pointless tests. Oh, what's that? What's that today? What were you doing last time? I can't remember what you were doing last time. Yeah, so we're going to do some. Obviously some more Planet Zoo today. I always find these Tuesday ones a little bit of a like. I have to get myself back in the jigger, get myself back in the groove of things. That's always a bit like, I don't know. By the time I think Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I'm not used to doing the streamage, and then my brain is a bit like, yeah, you're supposed to talk on these things, right? You're supposed to talk and you're supposed to chat, and you're supposed to tell people you're streaming and all that sort of thing, and I always kind of forget to do some of those things. And I'm just noticing, like, I have a Discord, and I'm pretty sure I don't know what the bot does half the time, honestly. Like, the one thing you have to do, Miss Bot, is put the link to the damn stream. She'll remember to do it at some point. So yeah, we're just going to do some. I don't know. I don't know if we'll look at the community zoo. We might save that to Thursday. Hate chooses when the week starts going downhill. This is the one good part of Tuesdays. Oh, thanks, dude. Thank you very much. Well, we'll kind of crack on with it then. Where's my game? Where's my freaking game gone? Maybe one of those days again that everything's just like weird. I've noticed the little thing that I have here that usually comes up that kind of animates in with like latest follower and latest subscriber and stuff has gone missing. Hey Lindsay, how you doing? And I don't really understand why. These things just seem to happen. Constantly. I don't really understand why. I'm reasonably tech savvy, right? I'd like to think I'm reasonably tech savvy. And I don't understand. Like, you do nothing. Don't change anything. Don't do anything on one stream to the next. The next stream I come back in again and it's not working. Weirdly, this one over here, when I'm over on this side of the screen, this one's working. But this one over this side, not so much. I don't really understand. Anyway. Right, I shall show you the progress. There is going to be an episode coming out on Friday. I've decided this year, how long this will last, but we shall see. But this year, at least for the early part of at least for the first couple of months, I'm going to be on it. So there is going to be another Planet Zoo episode coming out on Friday. Last week's was always planned to be a little bit of a holding pattern thing, but I actually quite like doing it. If you haven't seen that one, it was the kind of ASMR thing, which was a bit of a recap of 2020. Yeah, she still hasn't put the link in there, has she? She still has not put the link from the stream. I don't get it. I literally don't get it. It's almost like sometimes everything doesn't work at the same time. Yeah, so I'm going to try and put out a video on Planet Zoo every Friday religiously. Because when I did that before, I was, things were kind of yeah, a bit more positive and a bit more kind of a bit more positive. That's not right. No, flat. January's a bit of a flatliner. I think most people say January's a bit of a flatliner. So, well, that's the link to the Discord. But no, I mean, as in, I mean, the link to this stream hasn't been put in the Discord. I'm kind of interested to see if she's going to do it. I don't really understand why she hasn't already done it, because she's. Let me just bear with me a second. I'm going to go back to. Let's go back to just chatting screen so I can Grinch out for a minute. Let's just see what's going on. It's so strange. But yeah, it does feel a little bit like sometimes. I wonder if it's my internet connection sometimes. But yeah, she's not working at all by the looks of it. I can't even connect to that. So last week it was my editing software. So my whole Adobe suite wasn't working. This week I kind of had this. I've just kind of had the same, but then yeah, this is just. This is like the simplest of things. It's not working. The Discord bot. I can't even access the Discord bot. What is going on? Yeah, okay, Lindsay. I'm not even sure if you can post in that channel, but if you can't, if you can. Hang on, that's really annoying. Let me see if I can give you that as well. Oh, I can't. You're not set up in there. Yeah, it's just annoying. It's just annoying. Post it in yeah, post it in general. Okay, right. So let's go back to this then. So I have made some progress. As I said, this is going to be a little bit weird because what you're going to see in the streams, you're always going to have this, I think. But the difference is that obviously when you're doing it in the stream, when we're doing it in the stream together, you're building along with me. The videos are always going to be slightly weirdly out of sync with the streams. Streams are always going to be a little bit ahead of the videos. So we're actually working here on episode 3. Right? So episode 2 is coming out on Friday. Episode 3 will be coming out the following Friday. We're working on episode 3. Got it? I think it's clear. I think it's clear in my head. Weirdly, I haven't finished recording episode 2, but it makes sense. It's all fine. Right, so the things that I've done that you're going to see in episode 3 are... Oh, sorry, in episode 2, a continuation of this backstage area. I think we did some more... I think we did some of this backstage area in the last stream. In fact, I'm pretty sure we did. I think we at least created these little steps and everything. And then we... Yeah, and we had the bridge. I've had loads of problems with the bridge, weirdly. In fact, let's turn the desktop... Let's turn the game sounds on. I've had loads of problems with the bridge because they were stopping... I don't know if this is just since the last update. Let's just make sure they can still go under. They were having problems... Oh, I think maybe... Oh no, you've just posted it. Must have missed last stream because I don't remember any of this. I don't know if you were... Maybe you weren't here, Rem. I'm pretty sure I built this on stream. This little set of steps. Yeah, so you haven't seen this in the video. Well, if you've missed stuff in the stream, that's fine because it'll all be in the video on Friday. The speed build of it will be in the video on Friday. But yeah, we moved this around. I don't think we did an enormous amount. I think a lot of the detailing and stuff I hadn't done of this. And it's all kind of got, more work to do. But we now have this. Babina just woke up. What a... She's like, oh my god, I'm supposed to be doing something. I have one purpose. The only reason I'm allowed to live. God's sake, useless thing. Yeah, I don't know if that's a Twitch thing or what, but it always seems like it's slightly delayed. And what's even more weird, well, the YouTube one is so stupid, is that it does it after, on a live stream, it picks it up after the video. Yeah, I've got loads to do. Love the little retaining wall. So I can't remember if we had done this. I thought we had done this on the last stream. I think I've added some details to it, so it's got like the little bits of weeds and stuff popping through. But maybe I hadn't. So I've done this little kind of silo thing now. This all needs to be retained. All of this needs to be kind of properly filled in. I still don't know really what I'm doing with the perimeter wall. As I said, the bridge I had to complete, really annoyingly, I had to completely change all of this underwater stuff. Because I didn't want to have to relocate the bridge. But the little dude stopped diving underneath it. Are they actually? But yeah, I think they're getting there now. And then the big thing that none of you have seen, because I hadn't done any of this on stream, I've done this all off camera, is this craziness in here. So this is all obviously a work in progress. We're going to be working on this today. So this is the backstage area. This is obviously the kind of backstage building. We've got loads of work to do. We've got 1 million tiles made out of letters. So each one of these panels is 594 pieces. Each one of these. I pretty much nicked what Mrs. T was doing. Changed it slightly because I think she had blocks. I can't remember. But yeah, nicked what she was doing in the community zoo, and I've kind of done that as well. Sure, we're going to continue this today. Obviously, it's not got a roof or anything yet. Hello, flying trees. Trees up there. How are you going to turn this into a zoo with all of those tiny tiles? I know. Well, you know what? I tried to loaded the dome the other day. I loaded the dome the other day and was trying to record those. Look at that in sync. I mean, they do look cool. I loaded the dome and I was trying to record some of the cinematics for the video that I put out on Friday. I was just like, it's really cool, but it is really like I can't get above 1080p on it. It gets too laggy. I haven't really ever. Actually, what's funny is these are actually not too bad. Performance-wise, they're not great under the water. So I think if I moved it into an actual kind of zoo, I'd probably just take these out under the water and have the ones up on the surface. It's really not too laggy though. Like I'm not feeling any lag from this. I think these are actually pretty well optimized. They're definitely more optimized than. Definitely more optimized than like the brick pieces and stuff that I've used, the gutter pieces. Hey Tamone, how you doing? Welcome. I started my own version of the dome. I have the otters in. Cool. You'll have to share that in the Discord. Yeah, so big objective is to get a door done. And to get this kind of blended in and then get a roof on it. Hello. I mean, they do use it pretty well. That's not terrible to say. There's an update. There was an update this morning, I think, where they've changed some of the pathing mechanics a little bit. Something to do with the way that they traverse underwater or something. Fix some issue with that. So this is looking alright. I think it's definitely got some work to do on it. Let's go, because I'm streaming, let's go back to medium. Just so it's all a bit more smooth. Right, so we're gonna have, the idea is that this is the kind of main, I haven't really 100% worked out the story of what's going on here. I'm just kind of doing it for fun. But it was kind of going to be that there's going to be another pool, at least another pool, but not as kind of piece heavy as that one. So I think that's going to be, so the idea was that it's going to be like a birthing pool. I've done loads of research and I haven't really been able to find any pictures of how seals are kept like overnight. Like, I don't think they sleep in water. I'm pretty sure they sleep on land. If you see them sleeping, they're usually basking somewhere. But so I'm guessing it's just going to be a big kind of concrete back area of this, and then some sort of gate. So there'll be a wall continued here. And I did this kind of, oh hello, I didn't even realise I had water there, but never mind, we can cover that in. Pretty simple building. Actually from the outside it's pretty kind of simple looking and a bit boring and 70s kind of styly. But yeah, so we'll carry on with this and I'll show you how I did. I mean, it's not actually too complicated, because it's just you create the grid, and then I've used that, basically used that grid piece over and over and over again, and then where it didn't kind of mesh well, I've put a drain over it. Had a couple of places I had to kind of fix up, like around the door and things, but come in together. I haven't really worked out exactly what I'm doing on the roof yet. I think a lot of it's going to be glass, but with sort of canopied covers. We put a little window in, a couple of little windows and a little windowsill and whatnot. That might be a door, I'm not sure, I haven't decided yet. Sure. Right, so let's get this other little pool in. So the other little pool is pretty much going to be, so from what I've read in the like AZA compliance things, yeah, kind of skylights, yeah, exactly. From what I've read in the AZA compliance things, that they're supposed to be at least one kind of birthing pool. So I think that's probably what this is going to be. So we're going to do this one. This is all going to, as I said, it's going to be a lot rougher, a lot more kind of backstagey. So we'll go with the concrete here. So I think this is going to be a wall. So actually, probably concrete's not going to be the easiest thing to use. I mean, it would be kind of nice if it was just square, actually. Let's just do that again. We'll just make it, well, at least cut it square. Yeah, so as I said, I think this is going to end up being a zoo. I'm not in a desperate rush to make that the case. I mean, as we talked about before, the plan is at some point to make all of these one-off habitats into like a super zoo. But that might have to wait until I've got like a 3070 or something. A much better graphics card. My worry would be like, is this not about me having a better graphics card? Is this just the limitations of the game? Like, will I just kind of hit a wall with the game not being able to do it? I don't really know why I did that. I always do that with the grid piece. I always put a grid piece down, but you can just can use the reset to axis, world axis thing. So I'll make this like a little bit more of just a concrete. This will just be a bit more of a basic-y thing. Yeah. Yeah, the skylights I think is what I'm going to do. I think it needs to probably have some like drapes or something to get some shade. I have to say, when I think back to when I was building on the dome, I don't think I'm overly good at making sure that I'm being kind of frugal with the pieces. I tend to just kind of go, screw it, just get on with it, and not worry about it. And so a little bit of me worries whether when I kind of attempt to bring these things together, whether it'll be basically impossible. New faux rock step pieces might look good as a little ramp. Yeah, they're quite textured though. Maybe I'll have a look. Do I want to do that? Why does the piece count matter? Does it lag out? No, it lags out the game, yeah. So the more pieces you've got in the same area, the less FPS you get, and then the worse it looks. And obviously you have to add on top of the fact I'm recording and streaming and all that sort of stuff. So it's all a bit of a factor that I should really been considering more than I do. But the thing is, so what a lot of people do, what a lot of content people do, is just not have guests in. Like, basically there are some things that really make a difference to the performance, and they tend to be the traversable areas of the animal. So if you've got lots of climbable things, that'll all make a real difference. And lots of guests, anything that the game is having to sort of calculate stuff for. So if you've got a choice between a log that's climbable and a log that's not, the log that's climbable will obviously carry all that extra data that's like how an animal would climb over it. So you should really be considering that when you're building, but I really don't. I always prefer just to kind of go, what looks nicest? What looks nicest? I can't be fooked with it any other way. So I think I'll just do that. I think I'll just play. I don't really want to have to think about the piece count, because it's sort of just is a bit of a creativity stifle that. And my computer's generally pretty alright. add the polygons, the more things the game has to calculate. Trees and stuff is really laggy. Yeah, exactly. So the more things like climbable and barriers and stuff all really makes a difference. Just trying to tighten that up a bit more. But I mean, it's not a problem with this specific thing by itself, but adding this into a zoo with 7 or 8 things at this kind of level of detail is all a bit of a poo. So I want to make this really symmetrical. This is probably not the way to be doing this. I should get the floor in first. So I'm just going to go plaster, I think. Yeah, use all the things and make it pretty, exactly. What's the point otherwise? What's the point? That's it. I mean, that's again, that's the thing about like people wanting things to be accurate and stuff. It's like realism. Is realism fun? It's not for me. It's the same. Static shapes aren't too bad, but objects that have to be calculated have a bigger impact. Yeah, even stuff like the barriers and stuff. If you've got loads of barriers. Right, so these are the problem we've got with this stuff. Is obviously that it's got you can't quite see it there, but in order to get that, well, you can sort of see it. In order to get these tiles, you see they all have to be slightly angled, which looks fine from like pretty much any other angle. I guess I shouldn't worry about it. Yeah, okay. Well, let's stay on that. Let's stay on that level. So we'll do that, and then that one. So I was kind of playing around with the idea that this might be like an education area, which is why I kind of did it quite. I don't know. I was playing around with the idea that this is like a backstage, like somewhere you might feature in like a backstage tour, which is why it's quite sort of dressed and quite. No worries, Taman. Thanks for stopping in. I hope I'm saying your name right, Tamon. Yeah, so I don't know. That was kind of why I kind of dressed it. Although I sort of dressed it in like I don't know. It looks a bit like a 70s swimming pool, but as I said, I was just doing it. It's just for funsies. Kind of just like doing stuff in the game for funsies. I have to say, I really enjoy the way that the in-habitat behaviour of the keepers and stuff works. Like the fact that they just kind of traverse everything. It's so much better. It's so much better than having to worry about paths and all that sort of stuff. Although they have just made a change today that talked about. Not sure how to pronounce it yourself. Well, I ain't got a chance then. If you don't even know. Yeah, they've made a change so that paths apparently can be closer to water now. Whatever that means exactly. So I think it's going to be that they've removed some of the limitations for quite how close they can be. Twitch keeps crashing. Oh, is it me? It's not my end, is it? Looks like it's alright on mine. I wouldn't be surprised though if everything else is breaking for me at the moment. Okay. I don't even know if I want that in there. Heckin' Twitch. Yeah, so playing around with this idea of that it would be that this was like an education area that they might bring school kids and stuff into, which was kind of the, I don't know how I don't really know how to sell that idea in terms of like what it's going to look like. This would just be easier just to do in plaster. I probably don't need to do this. This is not. Let's not do this. There's more than enough detail over here and everywhere else in the habitat. This is supposed to be backstage toast, so just cool your jets. Do, 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 do. Right, so I'm kind of keen to make sure I can get this as symmetrical as possible, so it does look like it's kind of been poured. This is going to be this little bit here is going to be a pain to get rid of that. This is the beauty with making your own, like forming your own shapes though, like to put water in, because it doesn't really matter. It's not going to really matter what the terrain underneath it looks like, because I'm only going to have the bit that shows up underneath the pool, or through the plaster bits anyway. So what we'll do is we'll just kind of get the shape, and then we'll detail the crap out of it, as is my way, until the point where I'm like, Toves, just be done. You need to learn when it's done. I think that's my thing. I don't know. I was like, do I lack complete a finisher? It's like, I was talking to someone the other day. I was like, I don't say those. You get those like personality tests. I've done them at work, and I remember doing them at uni. That are like, what sort of type of person are you? And some people are, you get, I think there's one that's like Myers-Briggs or something it's called, and it talks about different people and how they sort of, in a workplace, different types of skills and stuff complement each other. King of plastering pools, I don't know about that, but I've done my fair share of them. And so I was talking about this thing. I was like, you can do a test online that pretty much tells you which of these kind of personality types you fall into. And I think most people, you know, aren't the same all the time, or in different like parts of their lives of different character traits, but one of them was complete a finisher. Something, I don't think this was Myers-Briggs, something else. And it was about people that are really good at the finishing of something. Like they're all about just kind of execute someone else's plan. And I don't think I'm that. I think I'm much more inclined to be someone that just likes to come up with ideas and get them rolling. Oh, this doesn't feel good. This feels like a crash. Oh, not so much. How have we ended up with all of that on the same group? You're not supposed to be involved. Yeah, so I think that's me. I think I've always been a bit like that in everything. It's like it's much easier for me to like come up with an idea than it is for me to finish it. But we're gonna stick to this. I think I'm always like, oh, I have a thing that comes into my head. I'm like, oh, that's a cool thing. Let's do that. And then you end up with 20 of those things. Okay, I think this will be fine. I'm feeling a lot of framiness from this. I think it is about this. It's the first time I've noticed, but weirdly I'm not seeing any frame drops or anything, so I don't know. I think it just doesn't like me being around all these tiles. Maybe I'll have to remove some of them. The thing is, with all of these, is these bits of your zoo, if you go like heavy detail, they'll probably perform like a dog while you're building around it. Maybe we leave a little bit of the crap in the bottom there. No, probably not. So this is going to be a wall down here with a gate. I haven't done a particularly good job of getting this plaster lined up though. So yeah, what I was saying is if you build something that's got loads of details in it, like when you're building around that, it won't perform well. But when you're just, you know, coming in and out of the area, it won't really be an issue. What is that? Oh, that's a bit of this one. That's what's going on. So let's do that. I can almost feel the grime and algae between the bricks. Yeah, it'd be kind of fun to do, wouldn't it? Some slightly greeny bits in places. Is that a gap? It is a gap. It would be nice to have some of that sort of thing. Some like decals, like, you know, like decals of kind of dirtiness, puddles, and, you know, roughness and that sort of thing. That would be super cool. I don't know if that was ever a thing in Planet Coaster, because it is always one of my things is always that everything is so perfect, and you want everything to be messy. Yeah, because if you watch programs about backstages of zoos, they're never clean. They're always like a bit battered and a bit kind of rough looking. So I think we will just go. All of this will be right simplified. Yeah, graffiti's like another step on though. I mean, like just scuff marks. Yeah, exactly. And like spills and things like that. Puddles. Yeah, I think that would be alright. So let's put some drains and stuff in it. I'm loving these new. See, these little decals make such a difference. If we had a load more of these, yeah, that did said little kind of scuff marks and things. I wonder if that's actually going to be too steep. Let's see. I bet you can't get in there, can you? Oh no, you can. Good. So we might actually even kind of just trap we might even just kind of trap a couple in here. A baby. A baby and a seal. We'll do a few more of these kind of here and there. This all needs some like aircon and stuff as well, because it'll all get kind of humid and musty. So let's just remind me to put that up there for a second. So it's funny they've called these vents as well, because they came in the aquatic pack, but they're not. Clearly they're not all vents. Some of them are supposed to be drains, surely. Surely. I'm annoyed at myself how imperfect that is. What have I done there? How's that? Oh, that's another bit that's sticking out there as well. There we go. Is that better? Is there any Z fight in there? Yes. So, what can you do? What can you do to make something look more like it's dirty? I guess what you can do is you can have, well, I did a little bit of this already, but you can make something kind of darker under the water surface. This is again one of those perfect examples where I'm being really lazy with my piece count. But doing something like that, where you've got the top part, the bit that's above the water is a lighter colour than the bit that's below the water, in order to create that idea that this is wet. So this is definitely one of those cases where I should 100% not just be doing what I'm doing here, but I cannot be bothered. I cannot be bothered. I'm using two pieces where I should be using... I mean, it still end up being two pieces, but... yeah, I think it's fine. So yeah, that's kind of... I think that would be interesting. Maybe they're a little too dark. I think maybe this bottom one is... no, I think that's alright. Adding some kind of shade into it, or some like colour variations, is kind of interesting. In relative terms. In relative terms, all of this stuff is that interesting. Yeah, I do think that would make a big difference if there were just some things that kind of looked like they would like even like damage things that have been... I mean, this isn't me saying that you know zoos are bodgy or anything, but the backstages of zoos are always going to be a bit more scruffy looking and bodgy than the front, surely. So it would be kind of cool to have that. Let's actually make that. We'll make it a little bit lighter because it's going to be pointing up at the light. Yeah. So that just, like, it's not a massive difference, but it just does something. It just sells the idea that it's wet a little bit more than it did before. Maybe some of the moss, but sunk right into the corner. Yeah. The moss might be too much, but I understand what you're saying. Oh, hello. You come to check this out. I mean, maybe, yeah, because I think this will just be kind of too. This will be too like. It's kind of a too much of a blunt instrument. But we could definitely do like maybe just some green. Or actually even like these. Seems a bit weird, but bear with. So why is that doing that angle? Those are in there, aren't they? Hedge. Just like jammed right into the corner. I think this is going to be a little bit too green though, but it's got a possible. Oh god, that's like an impossible angle now to achieve. So I think that's still just a little bit too. It's not very subtle, is it? It's a little bit too much of a blunt instrument. What about, let's get another piece of plaster. Yeah, what about one of these? What? So if we went like a really dark green. Oh, you weren't here on the last stream then. So it's just a random. So you know a little morph guy. It's a random one of those, and there's a whole bunch of them, and they're varying levels of rarity. The most rare one is like 1% chance or something. No one got that in the last stream. So it doesn't really do anything. It just comes up on the screen. It's kind of up here and it animates. That doesn't really work, does it? It shouldn't be quite so. I don't know. No, so we've had that one before. So that's Laughing Morph. Tickle his chin. I think we had quite a few people did them last time. Lindsay did a few, but no one's got. There's two really, really rare ones. One of them's at like 1%, and I think the other one's at like 0.2% chance of getting it. So I don't know if we'll ever see, if we'll ever see it, to be honest, but it's not supposed to be raised up like that. Saved my channel points back up now, and he got 19,000. Save the rest of my points for something special. Fair enough. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a struggle to get that to look anything that's kind of. I mean, obviously, it would be cool to have it kind of mouldy looking. Could edge that, but I don't think we will. So this, I think, probably needs some sort of little edge around it as well. I mean, we could go with. I think anything that's actually like an organic thing will just be too much. But we could go with maybe some of these. My new best friends. We ain't got enough of them in this area. Let's put a few more in. It doesn't need to be loads. It doesn't need to be an enormous amount of this. Just a little bit. This is pointless little tiny details. Seal backstage areas have rubber mats for them to grip. Oh, cool. I've been struggling to find pictures of backstage areas for seals. Rubber mats. Interesting. This needs steps as well, doesn't it? This would be really awkward for a keeper to get in and out of. What sort of rubber mats then? Like they're like floats or something, are they? Or like kind of? Do you mean like almost like yoga mats sort of things, or camping mats? And that's for the seals to not slip. Interesting. I got a copyright strike the other day on a bit of music from the playlist. I was like, what? How does that work then? What's the point in paying for music if you still get a copyright strike on it? I got caught up in the Twitch DMCA gubbins. It's like, what? Excuse me? I think you find everything I'm using is legit. I'm not. Okay, that's alright. It probably doesn't need anything else, to be honest. Okay, so let's do a little, we'll do a little kind of trim around this. If in doubt, get your gutters out. Oh, we could pause it as well. I'm building with them moving around me. I don't need to do that. Do 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 do. Yeah, we'll go with like a dark colour. So I'm now trying to think how you'd make something look kind of rubber. What they would look like. When I was doing the main pool bit, I was like, this is actually starting to feel like a swimming pool. It's not supposed to be. It's not really supposed to be a swimming pool. But as I said, I thought maybe the idea could be that it was like an education area, and then it would be kind of justifiable for it to feel a bit more kind of guest facing. That probably needs a little railing or something on it. Do 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 do. No. Oh, that one's so annoying. They still haven't fixed it. It doesn't line up with the rest of them. And then it doesn't move right either. What? Okay, it's moving right there. So we've got quite a lot of stuff going on this week. So it's going to be the next Planet Zoo stream will be it's going to be an evening one. I'm going to try. I think I'm going to rotate the Thursday night slot every week between Ark and Planet Zoo, just to see, because I always notice that there's not a lot of people. There's not really a lot of people streaming Planet Zoo when I stream it, and I always think the evening's probably more busy. People are more likely to be online and stuff in the evenings. So we'll do that and we'll see. I think I'm often competing with Zookeeper Chris at this time. I'm pretty sure he's live at the moment, as he was last time when we when we accidentally. Well, I didn't accidentally raid him. I did wonder why it didn't show up immediately in my list of people, because I follow him. But yeah, it didn't show up as in my immediate list of people to raid. So I was a bit like, why is this not showing up, and then it was obviously because he had literally just ended his stream. But yeah, busy week this week. So we've got he's live at the Mo. Yeah, I thought it was. He was live. He usually starts a bit earlier than I do. I think he started at I think he started an hour before me. I'm not sure. Oh, sometimes just try and select something. It's impossible. Okay, right, so that does help a little bit, I think. Just a little bit of detail to it. That looks very sort of sterile looking, doesn't it? But that's kind of what I'm going for with this one. So let's put a trim around the base of this wall. So how would I make something? I'm still not really sure. I don't have a picture in my head for what this thing is that you were referring to, Rem. It's like a mat. See, a lot of sealed backstage areas have rubber mats for them to grip onto. I'm detailing all this. I've not even finished the building yet. There's all this back of the building that's missing. It's kind of because I haven't exactly worked out what the layout's going to be. Whether there's going to be a room back here or something, which I sort of thought there was going to be. Yeah, because I'm creating a little bit of a weird... What have I got here? So that's one big wall piece. Have I got any sections of this wall left? Separate. That little bit there. Ugh. So this is poor planning. Oh no, I did keep it separate. Okay, I've got a bit over here. Good. Semi-poor planning. It's not quite the same as the others because it's got the windows missing. I felt like I thought I'd done this properly. I'm never good at this. Like when we built the one in the community zoo, that was probably the most organised I've been in terms of building something and keeping the building pieces, like creating my little building set. Because what I should have for this building, maybe we'll do this now, but what I should have for this building is a complete set that I can just adapt. So like a single wall section. Let's see if we can just see how badly this is organised. Actually, that's not too bad. That's alright. And then is this? That's a random bit by itself. Okay, so that's not too bad. So I can use this. So let's just duplicate that. Oh, is that not on the grid anymore? It is on the grid. Okay, cool. But it's not on the same grid as this. One day I'll just build something that's simple. Okay, so these need gates for them, but they can be closed. They are messy, dude. 100% they are messy. I totally agree. It's something that I'm conscious of. Something that I'm conscious of. How's that one? That one might be alright. I think that one will be alright because it's going to have a pillar. But yeah, you're totally right. I'm not good at that at all. And it does really make a difference. It does make a difference to... It does make a difference to what you're doing. But the thing is, I think the reason why I'm not very good at it is when I did that, the difference between when I did that entranceway that we're using for the community zoo is I had a picture. Yeah, maybe. I had a picture in my head. Well, I had a literal picture of what it should look like. And a lot of the time I don't have that. And I don't really know if I want that. I have an idea of what this will look like, kind of. But yeah, I think the reason why my groups get messy is because I'm not very good at just being... I'm not very good at just kind of organising before I start, which yeah, would massively make a difference. So I need to keep this. What have I got there now? That's on one grid. Hey Nadine, how you doing? Oh, what is? Hope you got good stuff. Oh, you've got your little sword as well, I see. Welcome to the mod squad. Yeah, so what you should really do is have your building pieces like of the varying sizes set aside and not do what I do all the time, which is just bust them and just go, screw it, just make a new, and then just literally follow a grid, effectively follow a grid, just resize everything. But I never do it, so I always end up in these situations. I'm like, okay, I have that piece has to come off the grid then because I can't get it to line up, and then it goes. I mean, the end result still ends up looking fine, but in terms of the process to get there, it's way slower than it should be because I'm always fixing something up. I'm always kind of patching over and making good rather than just kind of quickly crashing it out, which you can do if you're doing that sort of stuff. If you're being more consistent and using the same, roughly the same layouts and stuff. So that's going to be a gate from that main area into this smaller area. I think we'll close the building off there. So this will be plaster floor. Yeah, and then if you're not sticking to the grid, everything just gets... I mean, I don't mean sticking to the grid as in everything's built on a grid, because I think that's a bit limited. But if you're not even kind of following the same proportions, it does just make everything so much more tedious. Can we lose that top step? No. But then I don't know. I think a bit of me thinks if I was... I don't know. I think in my head, sometimes it's like if you write something then you redraft it, I always think the second draft is always better than I would have had on the first draft. And if the slower I am, sometimes the more opportunity for seeing a new idea or something, or a new thing. I don't know, maybe that's my excuse. That's my excuse to being disorganised and chaotic. I don't think I'm ever going to be someone that sits down and draws out a zoo. I just don't think it's in me. I don't think that's... Because the thing is, I think I've said this before, but like in my head, I don't have the idea to draw. And if I drew it and then stuck to it, yeah, it would totally just be... It would be something that would be... Either I would just completely end up ignoring the drawing. Maybe that's what people do anyway. They just end up kind of having the drawing as a basis to start, or I would end up really, really sticking to the drawing, and then everything would just be really kind of limited by my ability to draw. If that makes any sense. But yeah, no, it would definitely make me, if I was more organised. I think that does come. I think that some of that just comes with kind of practice. Planet areas like Asia and South America, but never an entire zoo. Yeah, I don't think I don't know. I just don't think that's how my brain works. I don't think that's something that I'm... I don't think that's something that I would kind of end up being like that I'd end up in a kind of creative... It wouldn't end up being creative. It would just end up being really insipid if I did that. I'm not saying that that's what happens to everyone. I'm just saying I think that would be what happens to me. Okay, so there's a little weird bit there. So that's going to be a wall. We've got a wall running down here, so this can change. That needs to not be right back there. Yeah, I think that's the thing. I'm not because when I think I'm kind of one or the other. I think I'm either going to be really, really kind of rigid and stuck to it, or just not do it at all. Because I think that's the thing with the yeah. If I feel like I'm doing a recreation, then I'm really, really... I don't have a problem necessarily with doing that, but I think that then just becomes a thing that I'm obsessed about. It's got to be exact. I don't know. Maybe it's something I should try. Do 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 do. Okay, right. So let's get this wall in then. And then we're going to have to start doing some sort of roof. Okay, so we've got this. How are they all end up on the same? How has that all ended up on the same group? It's madness. I've just noticed there's a gap there as well. I think I knew there was going to be a gap there. I did know there was going to be a gap there because this was going to be a window. Yeah, I mean, it's weird to say because I do think I do have a picture. I often have a picture, but it's not something I've drawn. I think I've just got a picture in my head sometimes. Of what I'm doing. And sometimes that's like really, really clear picture, and sometimes it's not, and sometimes it's like just kind of an idea, and then it ends up being more formulated as I do it. I don't know. I think there's a. I was watching something the other day. Hey Wesley, how you doing, dude? Watching something the other day, and it was I can't even remember what context it was, but the guy was talking about problem solving. It was in some sort of creative. I think maybe it was filmmaking. The guy was. I can't remember what I was watching. But it was about how, like, he was saying that his process is very much that he enjoys just solving problems. And so I think that is sort of my thing, that I'm like, quite like, I don't know if me taking away the chaos and the mess that I make would mean I'm not having that, like, because I don't have the problem solving bit of it, if that makes any sense. Because there will always be like things that come up. This comes up in all of the games I play, but something that's just kind of ends up being a bit messy, and that you have to do something in order to fix that or to hide that, and it's that thing that makes it look real or better. But I don't know. I think that's kind of the thing I'm trying to say. What we're working on, we're working on the seal habitat still, Wes. So we're still working on this seal habitat. I'm working on this backstage kind of area for it at the moment. This big kind of pool area inside. So I'm putting all the walls in at the moment, and then it's got to have a roof on top. So this is kind of their main backstage pool, which is going to be like an education area potentially, and then there's going to be like a little birthing pool, and then somewhere where they sleep, which I don't really know what that even looks like. See, I don't know if you were looking after, this is why I kind of needed some I did need some backstage pictures for this, not to recreate, but for some ideas. So I was trying to find out if overnight, my assumption is overnight, our seals, I guess this is the thing I don't really know, to be honest. Are seals locked up overnight? And if they're locked up, I'm assuming they're locked up in something that has access to water that they can swim around in, right? They wouldn't be just locked up in a concrete room. I don't know. Maybe I need to do some. Maybe I need to do some. I just couldn't find. I should have looked in the because there's like AZA guidelines and things, the Zoo Authority guidelines. In fact, I think I even pulled them down, but I think I downloaded them. I don't know what I did with them. Yeah, I'll have to look that up. Maybe I'll have to look that up for what the rest of this is. It's sort of interesting because you don't even really think about it that much. Like, what happens to animals at night? In fact, I was watching the Secret Life of the Zoo the other day, which is the Chester documentary. And there was a bit of me that was sort of surprised to say, going on Google, cheers, Rem. There was a bit of me that was sort of surprised when they said at 5. So basically, this episode was about a pregnant elephant. Zookeeper Chris could be able to tell us this as well, by the way. There was a bit that was about a pregnant elephant, and I was sort of surprised when they said, and it's 5 o'clock and all the zookeepers are going home. I don't know. In my head, I'm like, surely they just have a night staff, don't they? I mean, obviously they have some sort of security guys, but it doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be that on the outside. But then, yeah, I don't know. Like, surely they have. Do they not have people there all night? And actually, what they were saying was that they deliberately don't intervene in any way. I don't know if this is the case for all zoos, but I guess it probably is. Is that Chester wouldn't get involved in the pregnancy of an animal. You know, they wouldn't come in and kind of assist. Yeah, I think they probably have night staff, but I don't know if they would. I think that would be more for like an emergency. From what I was kind of gleaning from what this was saying, but they were kind of saying that it was, yeah, I mean that they were just kind of leaving the animals to it, which was a bit sort of like, oh really? They just go home at 5 o'clock. That is moving both of those, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so this will be some sort of door dealy. Unfortunately, we have a massively wide hitbox for the seals, so it doesn't really matter too much if they can't get back here. In fact, we could actually even make this a separate habitat. So if I did something like that, and then we unpause it, can they actually get in there? Oh. This is the one problem I have at the moment, is that because of the way that the animal mechanics work, especially with the things that swim, they end up getting boxed all the time. If you remember back to like early days of the game, Frontier made a change at some point, because it used to be that you had to unbox the animals every time. There was always boxed animals. They'd have to be unboxed. These ones are only staying boxed because they can't traverse in that area. And it was a little bit of a, kind of feels a little bit like a bit of a bodge that they did that, because they didn't fix the fact that they were getting boxed up, because the game boxes them. Like, I didn't box them, they just got boxed up. They glitch out, they get boxed up, they go back to the gate. So rather than fixing the reason why they glitched out, they just made it so that they magically unbox themselves. Unless you've got a problem like this where they can't get anywhere. I have a question about when you raid at the end of the stream. Can I guide the raid, the stream? It'd have to be the game you're playing. Yeah, pretty much, dude. Because the thing is, it's a bit pointless doing that anyway. So if you chose a Fortnite streamer, yeah, no one that's going to be watching my stream is really going to go and watch a Fortnite streamer. So it would be a bit pointless. I mean, it would end up being a raid, but it's not really. There's no point. The whole point of having a raid is that you go and end up watching that person or enjoy watching it and stuff. So it wouldn't really be worth it. So yeah, it should really be the same game. Which is, if when I do a raid, it's not the same game. It's a game that's very similar or kind of in the same ilk, if you know what I mean. So like we went to, yeah, something that it doesn't necessarily have to be the same game actually, but something that I might play. We also have night keepers in German zoos. Not all animals, most of them sleep at night, but for the nocturnal animals, well, also of course security that park at night. Yeah, so I think security is definitely a thing, and I'm sure that all zoos have some night staff. But actually, in terms of the nocturnal thing, I know that a lot of zoos actually change the nocturnal behaviours of an animal anyway. They change them from being nocturnal. Thanks for the follow, Luna. They change them from being nocturnal because they don't. Well, what's the point in having a nocturnal animal at a zoo? So that's why they put them in rooms. That's why they put them in public-facing things that have got, you know, blue lights or whatever, in order to change the the sleep cycle of that animal. Actually, don't really need that, do I? So I just want to see. I'm not sure I'm even going to have this as a. See, the hitbox is so huge. How big does that door have to be? I think we might leave this as a separate thing and have it actually as a separate habitat. That's still not. I'm not going to make it that big. That's silly. I'll just do it like that. We could get a seal through that door. I did some Googling. I think there are a few batch 2 pools with beaches. Hold on, I can't read that. For some reason my chat keeps getting cut off. Something weird going on. Beaches, so basically what you have, okay. Yeah. So I might do, what I might do back here is a more kind of just real functional one. Yeah, so I'd pretty much say no to that, Wes, to be honest. It's also just kind of not really in the in the spirit of it. Dong, 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 dong. Animals can still see blue and red light, so most of the time it's quite pointless. Yeah, I don't really understand how that works, but I guess it's supposed to have some. I don't really know. It's supposed to simulate difference. Okay, so this would need to be. So effectively, we'll make this a separate habitat, but it will look like it's joined to this one. We might actually just use the gates, Domez's gates. What are they called? I think they're Domez's gates. So many blueprints. Yeah, I've got more than I should have anyway. I've got quite a lot more than I should have anyway. We might need to. It will probably just be a female and an infant because it's supposed to be that it's like a birthing pool. Transport cage. What am I looking for? Am I looking for? I'm looking for the gates. Dome camera. I feel like they've been taken. They can't have been taken out. Oh, there they are. Doors. They're not called gates. So maybe that. What's going to be good for this? Oh, I missed that one. I didn't see what that was. So I could just go with that. I don't think that. Oh, maybe that one. Maybe that one we'll go with. The kind of barn door one. That one will take a lot of adapting. I think we'll go with the kind of barn doory one. So good. These are so good. So I just read how it works in night houses and zoos if they're nocturnal animals. Over a period of at least 6 months, the animal's inner clock gets adjusted by 12 hours. This happens mainly with temperature, that's right, yeah. And light changes. So when it is day for us, for the animal it's night, and in the night houses they use the temperatures and light frequencies. They're similar to the nocturnal habitat of the animal, like this they're active when visitors, yeah. Yeah, I've seen that before. So they trying to reprogram the animals basically. It was lol thing. All right. Yeah, I think we've seen that one before a few times. I think that's one of the more common ones. Yeah, that's all right. So we'll have to obviously have a door into this then somewhere. With a gate, with a habitat gate in it. So the lazy way would just be to whack a door in the side of it and not have to worry about. Where's all my barriers and everything? Not have to worry about making this shape fit. I think they'll walk through that. Trying to think how it works. When they're outside of a habitat, yeah, they will just go through an obstacle, won't they, to get through something. It's only inside the habitat that they then have collision. It's not performing well from a distance anymore, is it? So I don't actually really want this even to be visible. Can't do that because I'm inside a habitat. Okay, so pause. Pause. Okay. Flatten this down. Yeah, so we'll put a door in here. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess it makes sense to have if an animal is like something that so readily lives in the water that it can have a obstructed by water volume. Really. that it has its kind of night space have water in it. But then I was also wondering, I was like, do all zoo animals get locked away at night? Was there ever a case when they're able just to kind of wander around? Because they're in their enclosure anyway, right? So what's going to happen to them? What's the risk of having an animal be able to just kind of wander about? Have a wander. Do 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 do. I don't really want that sticking out. It's always a bit of a shame that the doors kind of stick out. I don't want that. So obviously something like something like a bird cage. Temperatures and weather. Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. Probably right. I would quite like to have the panel showing. The little keypad there. Quite like to have that sticking out. So like that. Yeah, I will, Wes. I think it will probably be a bit of a mission to do so. So if I was to select the habitat right now, well, I mean, this is a perfect example. So I've already made it 2 habitats. This is me already making it 2 habitats right here. This is why none of my stuff is really all that great to put on the workshop. They go up as park files, but they don't. I need to spend quite a lot of time on all of them to get them to a place where they're actually usable as habitats that you could drop into your own zoo. Because what happens is when you put in something that's got paths in it, obviously all the paths get removed, and then if you've got custom barriers and things, so if you've got things that have got barriers that are not part of the habitat, for example, it all gets removed, which is a bit annoying. But the majority of animals go inside a protected area at night. They go there because this is where the food is. The risks are that animals of prey could become victim of local predators that invade the zoo. True, yeah. So foxes and stuff, and yeah, I guess so. It's a lot harder to control the space, isn't it, if they're wandering around in a large enclosure. Another risk is that people could break into the zoo and simply steal animals if they aren't locked up. Yeah. Wasn't there a thing not that long ago when someone broke into a zoo somewhere, in order to try and... Wasn't this a thing? Someone broke into a zoo... I want to say it was in California, and accidentally almost killed themselves because they wanted like a picture of an animal or something. Hey Wes, take it easy, dude. I think I'm right. It was something that was like I don't think it was someone trying to commit suicide. I think it was a thing. Someone just being an idiot. They wanted like a good Instagram picture. He's always a bit annoying because you have to flip the door out the other way on the inside. But yeah, I guess that would be a problem. I guess that would be a problem. Nut jobs breaking into zoos to see the tigers. In Germany, people stole an albino baby kangaroo. It was tragic. Still knows where it is. It was during last year it happened. Oh, that's horrible. That's horrible. I'm assuming everyone's seen the Tiger King thing. I saw it the other day. I saw the original. I'd said it before, but I saw the original Louis Theroux documentary that had the Tiger King in it, and a lot of the people that were in it had Joe Exotic, and it had Carol Baskin and all those people in it. And it was quite a long time actually before Tiger King. But they're all, I don't know if that's, they're definitely all of a sort, aren't they? They're all of a slightly crazy, something slightly weird about them all. Peter and their little minions have done some sketchy things. So Peter, I mean, I don't know, obviously this is an American thing, but Peter, a charity, right? They're not like a government thing. I don't really like how much that sticks out. You've met 2 of the Tiger King peeps? Oh, you'll have to explain that. I hope I haven't just like... Yeah, because you're in Florida. This is where you go. Yeah, actually, don't tell us that Joe Exotic is related to you, right? You are called Rem Exotic, so I feel like I've potentially stepped on some dodgy grounds here. Do explain though, Rem. I'm very interested. What have I got over there? I think there was something about that that Carol Baskin woman recently again as well. Isn't there something about they'd opened up the case or something? That bloody Carol Baskin, I know. Which one was the worst? This is the thing. This was the whole thing, wasn't it? Which one was the worst person? I hope it was just radical vegans who don't know crap about animals and think by being vegan and screaming at zoos that they will get things done. Yeah. That's the thing, isn't it? Do. This doesn't have a handle on it, I've just realised. Doesn't seem like it's openable from that side. Oops. Yeah, I don't know if we've got. I mean, I guess we probably have got an equivalent, but of Peter. I've met Carol. Her rescue is 2 hours from me, and I've been there. Nothing dramatic. Also, Doc Antle from Myrtle Beach Safari. Oh, he's the guy with the beard, right? The guy who rides on the elephant. Characters, man. They're all definitely characters. Okay, this looks alright. This is looking alright. A bit more trim. Love a bit of moulding. Can't beat a bit of moulding in all games. That's rubbish. Yeah, genius documentary though, because you do end up. I mean, obviously Joe's a bit of a crazy, but you end up feeling quite sorry for him. Well, I did at least. Because he's obviously got, you know, he's obviously got some issues, and he's obviously, he obviously kind of does believe in what he believes in what he's doing. I'm all for veganism and helping animals, but the way Peter does it is unproductive and stupid. Yeah, I don't know an enormous amount about it, but I guess it's a bit like the from what I've seen in a few different things is that it's a bit, yeah, they're a bit militant. Right, so what shall we have in here with these guys? I don't think there's going to be loads of stuff in here, but probably like a tap and whatever. What are those called? Yeah. Not to do the classic bury this all away. In the cat world, I'm in the reptile world. We have the same kind of people, not just as not with. We have the same kind of people, just not with the media likes. I see what you mean. Yeah, that I think it was in the Louis. It was in the Louis Theroux documentary where there was a bit when he had all of these people come that Joe Exotic was doing like a class for how to look after your wild animal, and all these kind of housewives, yeah, came with their like pet chinchillas and stuff, and all these little monkeys and everything. It was very strange. It's like, is there no regulation? Is there no regulation for who's allowed to take home a monkey? What? How does that work? I don't know if that's. I mean, presumably that's not the same everywhere, but maybe it is. Oh, bugger. Didn't need to do that. Yeah, that was. I mean, that's an obvious sign of someone who's a bit, you know, sociopathic. But he didn't. You're totally right. He was like, yeah, that was his first thought, was that I'm going to get shut down, wasn't it? The thing is, it was also like, I mean, this is why it was such good television, because it's all a bit car crashy. It's all a bit kind of just like absolute caricatures of people that just you don't really think can be. This can't be real, surely. Permits here in Florida are just money and BS inspection of your house. If I really wanted to you could have $3,000. I could buy a tiger. What? That is madness. That is crazy. Let's just push it down a little bit. Do 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 do. Interesting that they come up as metal when you do a search for metal. Interesting. Yeah, I saw that. I think that was in the original Luthero documentary. But there are more pet tigers in America than there are wild ones in Africa. Imagine having a tiger. Imagine having a freaking tiger in your back garden. I guess it's like the space. It's just such an alien thing for someone who lives in the UK. It's like we wouldn't, like, that wouldn't be possible. It just wouldn't be possible. You wouldn't have the space. A little, yeah, in your bungalow or whatever. Just have a. I don't really know what I'm doing here. I'm trying to make a kind of wet area, but it doesn't really need to have that. I can never remember how I hide this away usually. I think the last time I did it I put like a little shelf or something there. I guess I could have like a pinboard or something. I think I've got a pinboard. Except it's got massive sticky backy bits. We can probably take those off. Here's one I made earlier. In Germany, the list of animals that are illegal to have as pets is incredibly long. Tigers are one of them. Yeah, I don't know about the UK. I guess probably they're illegal. I was reading something the other day about how difficult it is to get permits for animals in Australia if you wanted to open any kind of zoo. If I had the money, I'd have a few monkeys and exotic mammals, but nothing bigger than a tapir. Tapir's pretty massive though, dude, isn't it? See that? I think that again is just like an an alien concept for someone who comes from England, because I don't think many people in the UK would have enough space even to consider that. Like what you get for your money in terms of property size, I think is a lot more generous in in some states, I'd say. What am I doing? That's not what I want to use. I'm using this massive pole. Oh, it doesn't really even need anything. That's fine. That's fine, Toves. It doesn't need anything more there. We could put a little shelf. Actually, I kind of wanted this to be. I was looking at these the other day. Let's move that down. I thought these little clipboards that look good in a little kind of to look like they're up on the wall. Something that's kind of holding them up. So like something really simple. Yeah, I mean, if you're really into animals, I guess it makes sense, and you got the space. I mean, I guess you could argue, what's the difference between having a horse? What's the difference? Or even, I mean, I guess in theory, even you could argue, what's the difference between having a dog? Although, I don't know. I feel like that's a bit dubious. I think that's a little bit dubious argument. I think there needs to be thicker line between animal hoarders, media personalities, and those of type people, responsible private keepers who just like animals. Yeah, I think the thing is, I think for me, the line is like, Joe, there's an element, I think there's an element of me that's never been all that sure about zoos at all. And there's a bit of me that has to kind of has to go past the thing that I guess is the same as what the PETA people would say, which isn't right, but is a less nuanced argument than saying all animals deserve to be in the wild. Like, in the simplest of terms, that is an argument that you could say, yeah, all animals should be in the wild. All birds should be. No bird should be ever kept in a cage. That's like a really simple way of saying it, and like on a simple level, I agree with that. But the reality of the world and the reality of what zoos do isn't that they just have animals to show people and make money off them. And that actually the reality is that if we didn't have zoos, there'd be a lot more animals, extinct, or we'd know a lot less about animals, and actually animals serve, zoos serve a role in the conservation of animals. And but then that line gets a bit more sketchy when and this isn't any judgment at all, because who the hell am I to say, but that line then gets a bit more sketchy when it's just for personal pleasure. That's where I start to get a bit like, oh, I don't know, that feels a bit more ropey. So I used to live next to a lady who had pet parrots, and I do think it does. You do just get to that point where you're like, so is that parrot happier in that cage? But then I guess you could say it wouldn't exist. Maybe it wouldn't exist if it wasn't. It wouldn't exist if it wasn't in that cage. It wouldn't have been born. I don't know. Dubious. I'm of confused. That looks like a bot, doesn't it? I think that's a bot. I'm pretty sure I've seen Luna before. We've seen Luna twice in the same stream. Pretty sure if I click on this is nothing. If you're actually the person. Oh, it does say it's a stream, but who knows? I'm pretty sure those things are not real. Have you seen Christian the Lion documentary? Don't think so. What's that? Oh, look at this! Look at the Z fighting on this. Shocking. I don't know. It's a really weird one, because you could say that about any pet, couldn't you? What I just said, you could say about any pet. Should anyone have a pet? Should anyone have anything? I think it's easy to have the black and white answer to that if you haven't really, you don't think of the nuance of it. I have to start cooking. I can still hear you though. All right, enjoy your dinner. Oh, you're having the macaroni bolognese thing, aren't you? Guy in 70s adopts lion cub. Oh, I think maybe I have seen this. Guy in 70s adopts lion cub which he calls Christian, raises it, releases to the world, and then visits him years and years. I have seen this, or if I haven't seen the whole thing, maybe I've seen just kind of snippets of it. Yeah, I think I have seen this. I'm pretty sure I've seen it on YouTube. Yeah, interesting. I mean, I guess you do kind of. I guess we do kind of, we don't really know what's going on with them, do we? I suppose. Maybe we're better off with keep the animal. Yeah, you're totally right, Ren. That's what I'm saying. It's like it's a, you know, I'm shooting the shit, but I don't really know what I'm talking about. I can see why there are simple arguments to say, you know, how someone might justify thinking they're kind of fighting for animal rights by saying that no animal should be kept in a cage or whatever. But because even the Tiger King guy, he's like, I mean, he's breeding them, but I think it all starts, doesn't it all start off from him sort of saying he's rescuing them? Clipboard. Made it too small. I think the difference between a dog though and a cat, I feel like I'm going to get myself in trouble. I'm not meaning to, this is, none of this is, I hope you understand this is anybody that's watching. Like, I don't really have a side on this. I quite like just the thought, the discussion of it. The difference with a dog or a cat, actually weirdly less so with a cat, but well, no, not less so with a cat, just as much with a cat, is that they've been domesticated for like generations and generations and generations. Yeah, we've bred that animal to treat, you know, in the case of a dog, we've bred that animal to see as like its pack leader. That's the whole. And actually, you know, dogs are a social animal and all of that sort of thing, or wolves are. But you can't say that about I don't know, a tiger. You can't say that about a tiger, right? You can't say that tiger has always, yeah, it's not the same. To be fair, that guy is the perfect example of starting off good and then money and fame getting to your head. The way he breeds isn't safe and is irresponsible. Plus, he breeds hybrids, which is controversial. Well, yeah, because he does. Isn't he doing it all? Isn't it all like, I don't know. There's a whole. I mean, you can see from the guys, like the whole thing of his personality, that he's you know, he needs that, because he isn't he like a magician and then all sorts of other stuff. And weirdly, he's like a cop. He used to be a cop Like, says a lot. Yeah, it's better that way around, isn't it? Actually, might not have that one on the front. Just push these back. Yeah, that's a little thing. I guess his argument is that he has to carry on in order to save save any of them. He has to carry on doing more and more and more. And the breeding is just a part of that. It's all very sad though, isn't it? It's all the whole thing is very sad. It's all a bit screwed up. Right, so let's do the little pipe dealies. So I'm not a big fan of the big fat pipe that we get. I kind of like doing get that to match the green. Oh, I keep doing that. What's wrong with me? At the end of the day, the tigers live in cages, not enclosures with enrichment foliage, and more like real zoos. Yeah, I mean, it's a complicated thing though, isn't it? Because if you don't like, so are they better off not living? Are they better off just not being there? Is it that bad? I don't know. Where's that snap into? Oh, there we go. That is something my head has not been able to wrap its head around yet. Yeah. I think that's the thing, isn't it? But as you say, you can't have it kind of you could say that about any animal. And what's to say that there aren't? What's to say that? Because it was like ones that he hand raised and stuff. Like it is a bit. I don't know. Maybe you could argue that there is some those animals do have some need of him, and not just as a provider. Well, a lot of shelter dogs get euthanized when they don't find a home, and they're not even suffering. Yeah. This is the bit that's always a bit sketch because you can't really join it onto these. It just looks a bit. It just goes a bit meh. You just have to kind of bodge it. There we go. But that is the same. That's sort of the same. I don't know. I think that's sort of the same point, though, isn't it? Because if you were playing devil's advocate and saying that, you know, taking the kind of Peter line, so would they say that no dog should be ever, like, no more dogs should be pets? It's not our right to decide that an animal is ours, to take possession of another living creature. I don't know. Is that the argument? Yeah, good enough. Good enough. I think so. Right, so let's do a little. We'll just do a little something on the end of it. Bracket. I'll turn on my snaps off. It's not going to work, is it? Well, it might work. It may be. No, it's not going to work. Angle's wrong. What can I use? Maybe that guy. There we go. There's a little hosey thing. I don't think it looks like a hose. It needs to be blue. It doesn't say hose unless it's blue, does it? That says like recharge thing. Get you in a second. Why can't I select you? There we go. Actually, maybe it's just the green I've used. If it was a darker green, like an actual hosepipe green, that's better. Don't. Yeah. Okay. There we go. There's our little hose. No, not quite. There's always one more awkward little bit. Doesn't want to get selected. There we go. Press the wrong button anyway. That one. Okay, right. So let's do the roof in here because I think the ceiling and the roof in here will be easier to do than the rest. Let's fix that up first. Is that Z fighting? So in my head, it's a bit like I did the. There's a big gap there. No, it's not. It's a tiny little gap picking up the light. I did an elephant habitat, an elephant house that had like a glass roof with sort of draped shades. Hey Axel, how you doing, dude? So I think we'll go with something like that. Because I think they need something. They need something to kind of keep them nice and cool while they're having their I don't know, baths or whatever. Their bedtimes, their nights. Okay. So I'm tempted to go with the window pieces. What's the back of this double door look like? I don't really want to go metal. I could just go art shapes. Art shapes would be a lot easier. Tempted to go art shapes. Anything you're doing with these is always just going to be a little bit more of a pain in the bum because you've got a fixed shape. Yeah, I think we'll go art shapes. And it'll be like this is relatively square. I'm sure it's not actually properly square. Right, dude, no worries. So let's go nice and dark. And I'm tempted to do like a kind of slatted pattern like I did on the on that other thing I did on the entrance for the community zoo, because that actually looks quite good. Alright, is that running along that? No, it's not. It's getting further and further away. Is it getting further and further away? Yes, it is. That's because that it's not 45 degrees, is it? I bet. Or 90 degrees. Do 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 do. Okay, how's that one? It's going the other way now. That's better. So, how big are we making the skylights? That's going to be the question. So I'm trying to think how you'd actually do a sticking up, because a skylight could just be a flat thing, but could also be something that's got a corner edge to it. Let's just have a look for a second. I'm probably not going to be able to use the glass pieces, but maybe it would be nice, and if that was doable, we should use that to plan with. So I don't want that massive one. These are all huge, aren't they? That's the problem. This is way bigger than I want it to be. I don't want those. I want nice modern ones. Two-meter corners. See, that's just going to be too. It's going to be too big. But maybe it's not too bad. That could look kind of cool. That could work. The hexagon one looks cool. Let's have a look. Isn't that the? Is that in this style? The hexagon one. These. No, that's gonna be. It's gonna be a nightmare. You can't make a dome out of those anyway. You can't really make a proper roof structure out of them. And then I think these are too. These are all a little bit too kind of classic looking. I think that one's all right. Let's just look how that would look over here, but then like bigger. So if we took those, so if they were just a little bit smaller, I don't mind those though. What am I using? I'm using Glass Modern. It'd certainly be a lot easier to use these pre-made ones than doing what I was going to do. So Glass Modern, that one. So let's just have a look. Yeah, I think that could look alright. I think that would look alright. Maybe we'll go with that. Right, so this has got to be, it's got to be lined up with that wall, I think. I feel I probably haven't made a building that's square. I have probably made a building that's all kinds of jank, as you can tell, because I'm pretty sure that wall is not in line with this wall. But hey ho, we'll make it work. We'll make it work somehow. We'll bodge it up. We did. I don't know if we went off the angle with this roof piece or with the wall. I have a feeling the wall is actually on... I think it is a square. I think the building's actually a square. But I might be wrong. But it doesn't matter. It's not far off anyway. It's not so far off that you'd notice. It just means I've got to fix it up a bit. So I think that could just be that I've started to come... I think it's more likely to be that first piece wasn't lined up. I might be wrong. See what the angle's like against the wall. No, it's wonky. That's pretty straight. That one's pretty straight. This one, not so much. Oh well. We'll make it work. It'll be quite easy to make that work, to be honest. I've just got to fill some gaps, that's all. Right, so this will probably sit... This could sit raised up slightly. I wish I didn't notice that all the time, but I really do. I can't. Once I've seen it, I can't not see it. So it's gone. Do do do. So we'll put the basis of the ceiling down and then we'll put some detail into it. Right, what did I say I was doing? I said I was going to have a backstage area that was good. Excuse me. I was going to have a backstage area that was going to be more like a sleeping bit. So where am I doing that? Because at the moment that's an internal wall. Sorry, an external wall. So this is then like an area. I feel like maybe this is not all going to be... I mean, I guess it doesn't have to be external wall, except it's got windows. This is what I mean. There's no plan. There's no plan. This is just do. Right, so now we've got to compensate for the wonk. We've got to offset the wonk. That sounds like it could be an old school disco track. Offset the wonk. Right, this is still gonna Z fight as well, probably. Do 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 do. Wonky Donkey. What's Wonky Donkey from? Wonky Donkey. I want to say that's from like it's from one of those like Saturday morning programs, isn't it? Wonky Donkey. Ant Deck. There you go. Yeah. Ministry of Mayhem? No, was it the Ant and Deck one? Ministry of Mayhem was the Holly Willoughby one, wasn't it? Or was she on that with them? I don't remember. This is not even flat. Oh no. That's a bigger problem. That's a bigger problem right there. Gosh darn. That's a much bigger problem. But roofs aren't supposed to be flat, remember? We learned this a while ago. Someone told me a while ago that roofs aren't supposed to be flat. I always make the roofs flat and they're not supposed to be flat. They're supposed to be sloped. Otherwise, how does the water get off? SMTV, that's the one. Saturday morning TV with Cat Dealey. That's right. Ant and Deck. This is the thing, right? As soon as you try and get rid of a bit of the Z-Fight, you get these little bloody lines. It does my head in. And you just can't avoid it. You're always going to move it just slightly off. See, there's now one there as well. Better off before. Okay, well, so I hadn't really decided whether there was going to be a gap. There is now going to be a gap. There's going to be a little lip. And it's going to look like it's supposed to be like that the whole time. I mean, I could fix it so it's flat. I probably should fix it so it's flat. Oh, gosh darn. Darn diddly darn darn. So the bodgy way would just be to take this whole shape and attempt to try and rotate with my precision maximum precision, but I'm never going to get anywhere near straight. It's never going to get anywhere near flat. So this is probably a start again moment. In fact, we'll keep one, and then we'll keep one. Get rid of all that lot. So these have to be flat. That has to be right because it's on the grid. So let's get this guy. That's now flat. I couldn't have selected the whole lot and done that, could I? Let's just check. I don't think so. That's not doing anything, is it? It's not made that flat now. It's done nothing to it. Right? No, it's done nothing to it. Okay. What's the point in having that button available? What's the point in having that button available then if it doesn't do anything on those on multiple selections? So when it's got one selected, it puts it flat. Hey Dennis, how you doing? Yeah, I mean, I could have made it. I could have kept it sloped, I guess, and just made the fact that it was sloped. I mean, it is supposed, as I said, it's supposed to be sloped. It's a sloped roof, or roofs are supposed to be slightly sloped. But it was just going to cause me no end more grief as I went round the rest of the building. So we won't. Okay, actually, let's not do that either. Let's do this properly, so I don't have to fix all the roof pieces. Oh yeah, of course you did. How did you manage that? I didn't even think of that. Well done. You've been having that problem since I started on Twitch, haven't you? Still going to end up with some of it fighting anyway. Well, actually, we haven't worked out what we're doing here yet. I saved over my old zoo yesterday, so I lost 2 weeks of progress and I went through all 5 stages of grief in under 20 seconds. Oh dear. That's not good. Yeah, that's not good. Still doesn't doesn't seem very. I mean, it's square. It's now square, vertically square. Yeah, but we've still got the same issue. This edge wall is not straight. Yeah, that is a nightmare. Is that the one you've been posting screenshots of? I just did all that. I just did all that to stop the Z fighting, and I'm about to make a whole load more Z fighting anyway. Oh, man. That's all gonna clash, isn't it? It doesn't appear to be. Planet Zoo is still buggy. I wouldn't say so. Not really. I wouldn't say it's any. No, I wouldn't really classify it as buggy. Not for me anyway. I don't really. I tend to get rid of bugs pretty quickly. I mean, this is not this with me getting the Z fight and stuff is not a bug. That's very normal. That's not the way to do that, is it, Toes? Managed to get some of it back from blueprints. Yeah, I think I've only once done that where I've thought I've lost. Because I'm obsessively saving and obsessively saving different versions of the same thing. So if I ever lose stuff, I only ever lose kind of a little bit. Although I did weirdly when I was making that yeah, the building system I wouldn't say is buggy. It's complex. There are very, very occasionally you get things that are weird about the way that this gizmo works. But it's rarely that it's a bug. It's often that you don't realise something you've done. You really have. That's the real thing that you have to kind of get your head round. Is often it's a behaviour that it's applying to what you're doing. Yeah. So if even something as simple as if you're trying to move that. Yeah. If I've selected that by left clicking. Oh, sorry. Let's say I've selected. Let's say I've selected both of those. Or no, let's say I've selected that by left clicking. I can move it along its axis no problem. It doesn't deviate from its axis. But sometimes if you press I and you move the same thing, sorry, if you press I to select it, now duplicate it. Let's not do it this time. There's a number, like some of them I don't really even understand, but I don't think it is often a bug. I think it's usually just a weird kind of eccentricity. I mean, there are bugs. So that thing I said about the gutters a minute ago, that is a bug. The fact that gutter piece is not aligned with the next piece. And I don't think you're ever going to find any game that's completely as complicated as this in terms of its building capabilities and not got some eccentricities to it. Right, I need to decide what I'm doing here. I think that'll look alright. That'll look alright with some details on it and a few bits and pieces. I might well lift this dome just like that amount and do like a little lip there. I think that'll probably look better. Right, I think that's going to be it though for today. I'm going to have a quick look at the. I'm just going to show you guys the updates to the community zoo. Briefly, just to show you the changes that we've made. But I think that's looking alright. I think that'll look fine. So that is episode 3. So I'm not checking out the zoo, but I'm going to just jump in for a second. Just going to mute for a minute. So yeah, we'll be back on. So Thursday night will be the next Planet Zoo stream. Bum 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 bum. Rebuilding paths. Always a bit worrying when it says it's rebuilding the paths for some reason. Right, so I did a bit of an overhaul on this. I haven't really added an enormous amount more. I changed all the floor. This I think looks way better than it did before. I can't even remember what I had before, but I think this looks way better. And if you actually want to know what this is an upside down planter. Has that really cool texture to it, like the little crosses. So that looks kind of cool, doesn't it? And then I did these little bench area. Put some little signs in. Some little custom signs and stuff and things. Could the game crash when I tried to load the community zoo for me? Did you suss out the DLCs then? Have you got the DLCs? Did this little bike rack area, which probably needs to be a bit higher. We gotta get in there. And then I spent ages trying to get a font that worked for this. And I think I'm going to end up having to make my own or not have one on there at all. Because I actually want one that's like pretty much just the width of that. And not as wide as that. Yeah, it's looking alright, isn't it? It's looking pretty cool now. I think the floor and just the decoration and stuff makes a lot more definitely improved it. I didn't really do that much to it though. These little education boards and stuff look alright as well. But yeah, it's looking pretty cool now. So I've got to do the interior next, which is the easy bit. And then probably the back, this back section. So I'll probably blend it. Maybe what I'll do is I'll consider my bit to be done when I've filled this little gap. But there's still loads of spaces. Oh, what's this little thing? Have I seen that before? Oh yeah, that's backstage of... This is back of Rems, isn't it? This is the back of your thing. Cute, man. Likes it a lot. Tortoise. I've just realised I'm still recording. We don't need to be recording this. Notice that little canopy thing. Where's that from? Aquatic picnic canopy. Oh, I don't think I've seen that before. That's cool. So yeah, still loads of spaces. Yeah, I don't think you'll be able to get into the... well, I didn't think you'd be able to get into the file if you haven't got the DLCs, but who knows? If it didn't load, that would be the reason why. So yeah, I think this is the roof I'm sort of looking at doing again. That sort of style roof, just for the bit I'm working on in the other one. Zoop. So yeah, I think that's gonna be it, guys. Let me switch back to Big Toves. Love those new umbrellas. They're great everywhere in my zoo. Yeah, I haven't seen them before. I've not seen them before. Oh dear, I'm flagging. I've been flagging all stream, haven't I? Yawning away to myself. Do apologise. How very unprofessional of me. So yeah, we've got a busy week this week. It's going to be what are we doing? House of Bust tomorrow, the usual time, and then Planet Zoo stream on Thursday is actually going to be an evening stream. As I said, I'm probably going to switch those around. See how it goes. So in the day on Thursday, there's gonna be a couple of different games I'm gonna be looking at. What was I saying? So I'll probably have another look at the Tenants. So if you haven't seen the Tenants beta, I'll be doing a little bit of that, just to see how that's progressed, because I haven't looked at it in a while. What was the other thing I said? There was two others that I said. What did I say? I've got it in the Discord, haven't I, somewhere? My schedule. Oh, I thought I put it in there. Oh, Little Nightmares 2. This is just a demo, which I thought we might look at. Looks kind of fun. See you, Ram. Take it easy, dude. And then Motorcycle Mechanic Simulator. So I played Car Mechanic Simulator. And I don't know if it's that thrilling to stream, to be honest, but it's kind of chill, so I might just have a little look. Again, that's just a demo, so we'll have a little look, see. And then what else are we doing? What's the other one? Oh, and then Ark. Yeah, so then Ark is Saturday. Friday's going to be a video. Yeah, it's all the things this week. So yes, thank you very much for watching. As I said, so there will be episode 2 of the Grey Seal Habitat up on Friday, this Friday, and then the following Friday episode 3, which will be the finished, that building will be finished in order to, and in theory the whole habitat will be finished, but we shall see. Yes, Lindsay, I definitely need to do a raid. Let's have a little... Right, so he's definitely, this time, he's definitely not streaming. So I'm going to have to do a search. See if we can find anybody. Let's have a little look. There's never anybody that I follow streaming Planet Zoo, and I stopped streaming Planet Zoo. Anybody? Ah, myself. Bear with. I don't really ever want to send you guys to people that don't speak English, which is why I'm always kind of a little bit checking. Yeah, see the person streaming Planet Zoo, who's the biggest person, she doesn't speak English, I don't think. That looks very much like a non-English speaker, and that one as well. And then I don't really want to, I don't know, I always feel like it doesn't feel right to send you guys to someone who's got like 400 followers or 400 viewers. Jelly Ellie Fishes. Let's have a look. I think I see a dog pic, a little dog cam, which is always gold.
I got it. Yes. Yes, I did it. I used to have a list of swear words and pronunciations that.
Right, we'll go with this one. We'll go with this one. She hasn't got a camera on by the looks of it, but we'll go with this one. Right, so Jelly Ellie Fishes. She's doing her thing. She's just hanging out doing her thing. Jelly Ellie Fishes. Right, starting the raid. Right, peeps. So yes, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Hopefully see you guys on the House Flippers. Take it easy, see you later, boy.
Oh my goodness. Tobes Place? Sorry if I said it wrong. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in. What were you playing, Tobes? Is it Tobes or Tobs? Welcome in, guys. My name is Ellie. We're just playing a little bit of Planet Zoo today.